All right, everyone. Can you all hear me? If you can just put yes in the chat box that you can hear me, that would be great. All right? Okay, everyone can hear me. Perfect. All right, so thank you so much for joining me for our last and our final accommodation webinar. So we have the accommodation in Dubai. Okay, so on kind of everyone's mind, of course, it is sometimes stressful. Accommodation is a key thing, especially at this kind of time period in the year. Dubai is kind of a later starting campus in terms of visa and the program start date. So, but the process has been kind of getting on a roll now. The tuition fee is due this Friday on the 1st. The visas are going to be starting in about beginning to mid-July. Then you'll be all set to kind of go to campus. So really the main next step is housing. Okay, now we do the accommodation webinars later in on the year as we really can't secure anything until mid to end of July, if not slightly later. And usually most of our students do wait until they actually arrive in Dubai. We do recommend this usually, unless you kind of have a reliable source or you've looked at the reviews or the pictures, because sometimes it's not always as it seems online. So definitely I would say for housing in general and accommodation in Dubai, research is key. We're going to cover kind of today all your questions, experience from past students. We're going to go through the neighborhoods where HALT's located and all of these aspects. But, from your end, research is very important. This webinar doesn't have everything in it. You are going to need to do some research on your own. We can't kind of hand feed you everything. So, this is just really to help you have an idea before you even come, where to start looking at least. Okay, so this is recorded, so don't worry, and we will be sending it out after the webinar is over. So if you need to leave early or if you don't fully get everything, you can always go over the webinar again. As well as I would say, speak with your enrollment advisors, especially in Dubai. We all live here, so we are a great resource as well. Okay, and we'll be sending over the presentation as well, so you can click on the links that we'll be including in the webinar. Also, just a kind of key note as well. So most of you should or already are on the Facebook, WhatsApp groups. These are very important when it comes to accommodation, because this is where a majority of our students previously and this year as well, is a great way to find roommates, a great way to find kind of accommodations that previous students might have lived in. And also just all the meet and greets that you guys have attended, really utilize your network if you are thinking to share with a roommate. Of course, keep in mind the aspects of the social life. If you do want to live alone, we'll go through kind of these things later, but definitely if you're not on the Facebook group or WhatsApp group, contact your enrollment advisor so that you can be, because it's a wonderful resource to utilize. Okay. So what we're going to cover today, so basically, the main and the very important aspect is budgeting and the average cost, okay? So for a lot of the master's students joining us this evening, budgeting, keep in mind to discuss with your parents, bring your parents in on this, because they will be the ones, of course, that will be paying for it. So this is very important to get them in the loop. For the MBA students, usually you will be handling this yourselves. So just kind of have a good idea of a budget. But really, this is the main thing you need to have an idea before you even research, is what your budget is. If it's on the lower end, if it's on the higher end, if budget isn't as important to you, you need to average this out. Okay. Now, where to look? So we're going to be going through where HALT is located, key locations, the cost in these neighborhoods, travel time, how to get around. We'll really go through everything in depth in terms of kind of the locations. Now, in Dubai, we have long-term service apartments, and we also have private rentals. Okay, now private and long-term is a majority where our students do live. You can, with private rentals, live on your own in a studio, 1 bedroom, or you can just, rent a room. These are all options in Dubai. So definitely this is where the budgeting comes into play, is that, obviously if you have a lower end budget, you might not be able to have a 1 bedroom by yourself. Or, if budget isn't important, maybe you will want a 1 bedroom, in JBR, which is, a more expensive area. So it's just kind of up to you. So this is really where you need to kind of start your research, okay? Now we'll also go through rental agencies and search engine websites. Dubai is quite safe. It's quite a safe city, but you still need to really look. Be careful as always. Contact agents. Just be aware what's beyond just the picture. If it's too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true. So just keep this in mind as well. But Dubai is quite a safe city. So if there's any concerns, you can always contact student services or your enrollment advisor. Okay. So where do I start? So like I said, going over what is my budget, realistically, keeping in mind the maybe lower end to the higher end, just so that when you start searching, you have an idea what areas to look in. Now within the budget would be how many bedrooms am I going to have, the type of accommodation, are you going to be living alone or sharing, is being close to a park, being close to, nightlife, the social aspect, is that important? For myself, I love to be near the beach, so that's a priority for myself, but it might not be as a priority for yourself. So keep that in mind as well, what your preference is. Okay, so also near metro station. So as opposed to the other campuses that we have, Dubai isn't as accessible in terms of public transportation. There are buses and the metro, but it doesn't go all over. So, you can't live far out if you don't have a car, for example. You're going to have to be near Halt. So just keep that in mind as well. If you are comfortable with commuting, then, you might not mind taking the metro. If, you're not as comfortable, might be your first time leaving home, then maybe staying closer to Halt within walking distance. Also keep in mind, in terms of, the distances and timings, Dubai gets quite hot. So if you are planning to stay in Dubai the whole year, in 35-degree weather, you don't want to be walking 20 minutes in the scorching heat. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well. Like I said, with the rotating, so will I rotate? Most private rentals are 1 year. So if you're planning to rotate, you can sign a contract and you can maybe try and get someone rotating to take your apartment, but maybe it would be better to just rent a room rather than, get into a contract that you're liable for, which is where what type of contract will I need? This comes into play. So you really just need to kind of think what you're going to be doing in terms of rotation. If you're staying in Dubai for the whole year, that's not a problem. But if, at any point you're thinking of maybe even rotating, keep that in mind when you're about to sign a contract. Okay. Now, in terms of the living kind of legality side of everything, so Dubai is, by law, you can only have the same sex in an apartment. So you can't have male and female in an apartment or a villa or a house. So, keep that in mind when you're looking. That is the law. Now, some students in the past do, live with female and male in an apartment, but just kind of take that at your own risk because the law is only same sex. okay? And again, this is where, the Facebook is going to come into play, really kind of keeping in touch and utilizing your network if you want to share a room. Okay, so budgets. So now the average housing cost in Dubai with utilities, we usually say, is around 45,000 dirhams. This is for the year. Now, of course, it's going to vary on, like I said, your budget, your standard of living, what you're looking for. But these are kind of some budgets to go through, at least, for you to start doing your research. So sharing an apartment with a roommate, so this could be an apartment all the way to kind of villa or a house, can range anywhere from 2,500 to 6,000 dirhams per month. So this might be a better option for, like I said, those that might be rotating or that are on the lower end of the budget and, aren't able to pay kind of 1 year up front. Because when you are living alone, if you see there, the payments will be due in 1 or 4 checks for the entire year. Okay, so a studio is 38 to 60,000 dirhams per year. So basically, before you sign the contract, the real estate agent would require either 1 check in full, or sometimes it can be to 4. Sometimes you can find a 12 months that you can pay in checks, but usually it's about 1 to 4 the average. So keep that in mind when you are looking at your budget, that you're going to need to have a certain amount up front. Okay, now with 1 bedroom, it can go anywhere from about 45,000 all the way up to 80,000. Now, these prices depend on the neighborhoods because, of course, there are some lower end ones. There are some more expensive neighborhoods. So we'll go through that afterwards as well. But just so you guys can get kind of a starting idea. Okay. So where to look? So HALT Dubai campus is located in Knowledge Village or in Internet City. So many of our students previously have stayed in the areas such as Barsha Heights, which is also known as TCOM, Al Barsha, JLT, and the Marina. Okay. Now, the Dubai campus is about a 10-minute walk from the metro, the Internet City metro station. So if you can, if you're not going to have a car, if you don't want to walk, you can try and find accommodation close to a station in Zone 2 on the Metro Red Line. All right. Now, with the metro, it's great. It kind of goes all across Dubai because in terms of walking, Dubai is not really a walking friendly city per se. There's a lot of highways. Most people do have cars, so you'll want to utilize the metro or the bus system. Okay. So within 10 minutes of the campus, like I said, the area is Barsha Heights, also TCOM, the Greens, Al Barsha, the Marina, and JLT. Now, within 15 to 20 minutes of campus, there's Discovery Gardens, Jumeirah Village Circle, or JVC, and Jumeirah Beach Residences, or JBR. The top 2 of those can be accessed by bus, or there's the metro, but it is going to be a little longer of a commute. So if it isn't a problem for you, you can definitely look slightly outside of that. If you don't want to commute, try and look in the top 5 neighborhoods. Okay. So you'll see here is the metro map. So if you see the circle here, that's HALT. It's Dubai Internet City, and the red line here is the metro. So it goes all the way down, kind of all across Dubai, basically. So you can see the neighborhoods and which stations are close. So you'll see Dubai Marina there, Ibn Battuta, which is where Discovery Gardens is, Mall of Emirates is where Barsha is. So you'll see those areas there. Now, if I go to the next slide, you'll actually see kind of the areas here. So Barsha, the Palm Jumeirah, you'll see Jumeirah Lake Towers, which is JLT, Dubai Marina. So you'll see they're quite close in terms of the metro stops to Dubai Internet City. So, we would recommend not going too far because, it is on the metro line, so it depends how far you want to commute. Okay, but you can also, there's metros from Business Bay, the financial center if you do want, but that's a longer commute if you're comfortable with that. So here it shows the rent map. So this is the average cost of studios. So if you'll see down here in the corner, it shows kind of the neighborhoods. So Discovery Gardens, like I said, is over here. So 46,000. Dubai Sports City is back a little bit farther. If you have a car or you're looking into a car, this might be something to look for as well. I mean, it does have new apartments, but there is no kind of local transportation that goes to that area. And then here is Jumeirah Village Circle, the number 9 you'll see. So that's anywhere from about 50,000 below, depending on what you're looking for. So it just kind of shows a little bit of the outside areas as well. Okay. Now with the metro map, it shows also the average prices for studio, 1 bedroom and a 2 bedroom. So studio is the black squares, 1 bedroom is the red, and then the gray for the 2 bedroom. So it kind of goes again all along the metro because most people do live close to the metro station in Dubai if they do not have a car, which, if you're going to be here for 8 months to a year, it might not be something to invest in. But again, this is kind of up to where, you have your budget and what you're looking for. Okay. All right. So the short-term accommodation, now when you first arrive, like I said, we recommend honestly, looking at apartments first rather than just, signing into a contract online. So when you first arrive, book a hotel or an Airbnb for at least a week or 2. Most students take between 1 to 2 weeks to find accommodation. You can do it in 1, but you'll really have to be busy looking at and seeing all these different apartments. This gives you as well time to explore the city and really, realize which area you would like to live in, what you feel comfortable with, what you're looking for your preferences. So take at least a week. With this week, what I would recommend as well is, even though you can go see the apartments when you arrive here, have an idea, start looking at the apartments in the areas we mentioned. So you at least have an idea what you're looking for before you come here, so that when you do come here, you can get straight to just seeing and viewing the apartments. Okay, so Dubai campus has corporate rates with short-term stays in hotels and hotel service apartments. You can go ahead and log on to My Halt. It has a list of those. But of course, we recommend as well using hotelclub.com, booking.com, Dubizzle, and Airbnb. So you can go ahead and look on there as well. But definitely, take at least a week. The Dubai campus doesn't start until the 20th of September. So you do have some time, come mid-September, beginning of September, so you can get all settled in, because once the immersion happens and starts on the 20th, you are honestly not going to have time. It's quite intense, and you don't want to be thinking and worrying about accommodation while you're, looking for a house. Okay. So with the long-term service apartments, so this is really for kind of the students that have that higher end of the budget. The sheets and the linens and the towels are changed. You get the cleaning. You can also have a meal package. There's restaurants down below in the hotel. Fitness area, it's all kind of included. So, if you don't really want to go through the hassle of looking for an apartment, you can go with the Gloria Hotel. It's right beside the Internet City Metro Station. It's about kind of an 8 to 10 minute walk. So you can contact Khalid Al-Safarini, and those are his email and his phone number, so you can contact him before to get some ideas, or even once you arrive here. It's where some of our students previously have stayed. Now it is an alcohol-free hotel. So, if you enjoy more of the social nightlife, maybe this might not be the place for you, but just kind of take that into account as well. Okay. So with private renting, of course, there's pros and cons. Now, with the pros, you're going to feel more at home. You might, you're able to make it more a comfortable space of your own. You'll be able to find really the prices for your budget, as well as, access to your own kitchen and living space. If you're sharing a room, as in an apartment, you'll have access at least to a sharing kitchen and living space. So there's of course it's going to be your own. You can choose. You have those options. But of course, with the cons, like I said, here in Dubai, it's usually a 12-month, so 1 year tenancy agreement. And the TV, internet, electricity, and water is usually outside of the cost as well. So you'd, of course, need to pay for these monthly, take the responsibility on. So if, you don't want to go through the hassle, like I said, the long term might be easier for you, or even a sharing apartment where you're not kind of solely responsible for the bills. Okay. And now it does take kind of effort, and it's very time consuming to go view the apartments. We recommend you do, like I've said previously, go view the apartment. Do at least do your research extensively before going or before signing, because we don't want any students to, go into a contract and then they're liable, and, there's any issues. Okay, so just make sure you do your research. Dubai is a safe city, but of course, you can't be too careful. Now with the housing agents, so there is a company called Better Homes, and we have two real estate agents, Julie and Jacob. So you can get in contact with them, give them your options, give them your kind of preferences, where you want to stay, your budget, some of these aspects, so that they're able to find some options within your preferences. Okay. Now, with the rental websites, so we have Bayut, Property Finder, Just Property, and Better Homes. Do Bizzle as well. Now, these most of the agents you would need to contact as well. They're on there. They're great websites, very reliable as well. Now, Do Bizzle is more for if you want to find a sharing room. You can go ahead and click on there, and there's a lot of kind of rooms to let. With all of these, go through the different areas. If you have all the options to put in your budget, furnished, unfurnished. Most apartments in Dubai are unfurnished, but there are options to have furnished ones if you do wish. So go ahead and look on there. When we send over the webinar and the PowerPoint presentation, you'll be able to click on these links and start your research. Okay. Now, with furnishing your apartment, if you are going to go with the private rentals, as I said, most apartments are unfurnished, although you can sometimes request landlords to furnish it, but it's more of a common practice to actually furnish the apartment yourself. So there are a number of kind of inexpensive options. Furniture is not very costly in Dubai, so you can also go on Dubizzle for used furniture. Dubai Locanto, Dubizzle, I can honestly say I've used it as well. You can go on for kitchen table, bed sets, desks, drawers, you can go on there, and because Dubai is has quite a lot of expats, you will find on Dubizzle most of the furniture is relatively new. A lot of expats are moving in and moving out, so look there if you don't mind having used furniture. They're still in great shape. Now, you can also get new furniture. We have IKEA. It's about a 30-minute taxi ride. It's fantastic, as well as Home Center. There's one about 5 to 10-minute drive from Halt. In Mall of Emirates, there's quite a few home centers as well around Dubai. So, there's quite a few options to look for the furniture. Okay. Now, any other questions, anything you wanted me to go over at all? Any concerns, anything like that? Any questions at all? All right, so I'm going to be sending over the webinar with the PowerPoint presentation. It will either be today or tomorrow. So as soon as it has been uploaded to YouTube, I'll send that all over in an email. Any questions at all, as always, please contact your enrollment advisor or even student services in the campus. They are great resources. That's what we're here for. But please do your research as well, because at the end of the day, you need to have that research done, because you know what your preference is and what you're really looking for and your budget. Okay, so I hope this was informative, and have a wonderful evening.